Hello everyone, Silent here and welcome back to another episode of Bugrock of the Week. Today we're going to be talking about how 1.13 for the Bedrock Edition is actually a really good update in the long run because it's actually fixed hundreds and hundreds of bugs. Of course, 1.13 has its couple small flaws and we'll talk about that a little bit more later. However, this update is actually a massive step in the right direction and it really shows that the developers do care about fixing Bedrock. This fact has kind of gone unnoticed by the Bedrock Edition community, so today we're going to be taking a look at all of the best, most important bug fixes in the 1.13 update, because there really is a lot and it really does help improve the game in a multitude of different ways. So of course, I don't need to tell you, all of the internet everywhere is completely blowing up about how 1.13 is just an utter mess and it has some issues, and it certainly could have been developed for a little while longer. However, the good parts are still there. This is still an excellent step in the right direction because it shows that Mojang truly is listening to the community and making massive strides to actually fix the updates. And while we're talking about bug fixes, I also just released a video that goes very in depth on how to actually report bugs to the Minecraft bug tracker. If you ever find a bug, go over to the bug tracker, maybe watch that video and report it. That way Mojang knows about it, and if they know about it, they can start fixing it. So the first biggest issue that was addressed in 1.13 is drowns will now be able to despawn. As you guys know, this has been a massive problem on Bedrock Edition for, well, since forever, basically. No mobs to despawn. But now, in the change log, it stated that drowns will now be able to despawn if the following conditions are met. They need to be further than 54 blocks away from the player, and they need to not have done anything in the previous 30 seconds, and it also needs to be daytime as well in order for them to despawn. This seems a little bit strict to me, however, at least it is a system that's in place to help get rid of the massive mob buildups that you can oftentimes find in your worlds. So I'm kind of hoping that they're just testing out this despawn system with a fairly unimportant mob that's also causing an issue, and hopefully they'll be able to test out the system more, get some feedback on it, you know, refine it, make it actually fully functional and optimized, and then hopefully they'll be able to roll out despawning to like all of the mobs in the game, because it truly is a really big deal. And if you want to learn more about that, I already made a whole other Bugrock of the Week episode on it. The Nether Portals in Bedrock Edition will no longer send you to the incorrect places either. This was a pretty massive issue in 1.13. However, 1.13.1 has actually successfully fixed it as far as I'm aware. You can still die while going through the portals, but that's kind of a separate bug. And this bug has actually been around since December 2018 as far as I'm aware. And it was actually the first episode of Bugrock of the Week, which is kind of like the main reason I want to bring it up. Another really awesome fix is that furnaces will now properly store all of their experience. This was a feature before 1.13. However, they would randomly lose all of their stored experience, so it wasn't actually reliable. But as you can see, we can now gain ourselves a whole bunch of experience by taking these things out of here. And honestly, this is really cool because now we can make storage XP banks. This might seem like a weird one, but the lingering potion particles used to stay around forever because their decay timer was actually based on the do daylight cycle game rule. So if you were playing in a world that had the daylight cycle turned off like this one, the particles would literally never go away, which was a very strange game decision, but now this has been fixed. And with this, I think they've also fixed the bug where you can get like an ocean of particles that completely lags out your entire game. That has to do with killing those potion particles and then setting it to a different time of day. Used to get an entire ocean of those particles, and it was very fascinating. Mobs are once again able to pathfind over waterlogged blocks. As you can see, all of those things there, not an issue. Once it gets to the lectern, however, it does seem to stop its pathfinding. Not sure if that has to do with the lectern or being waterlogged or both, but yeah, as you can see, for the most part, waterlogged blocks are now able to be walked over. Mobs should also no longer infinitely jump against slabs. In previous updates, the mobs just like didn't think that they were there, so they would just infinitely jump and try and walk through these forever, which was actually kind of hilarious but also mildly annoying, and now that issue does appear to have been fixed. We can all rejoice at this next one because now all items that you mine, such as leaves, will stack together properly. This has actually been an issue for absolutely ages, and as you can see, when we mine down this oak tree with shears, silk touch axe, or a silk touch shovel, all of these guys stack together properly, and this is so nice for inventory management. And honestly, I've covered this bug like 6 times. I'm just extremely happy that it's finally gone. So here you can see this bug in action in a different form. Items smelted before 1.13 will not stack with items smelted after 1.13, which is a little bit of a strange one, but at least this shouldn't be an issue going forward. You had to be rather eagle-eyed to notice this one. However, you might have felt like there was something off with the enchantments that you were getting. Pre 1.13, any enchantment book with 3 or more enchants would always have a feather falling, and any book with 4 or more enchants would always have feather falling and blast protection on it. So these books are all pre 1.13. As you can see, that is a lot of feather falling. And that's just from what I had down here at the AFK fish farm. I enchanted a whole bunch of stuff in 1.13. As you can see, all these have 3 to 4 enchants, and there's hardly any blast protection or feather falling in sight, which means that the enchantment RNG is now balanced, and using the enchantment table will now give you a whole lot more enchantments that are actually useful and varied. If you're a longtime viewer of this series, you might have noticed that all the bugs up to this point are actually featured in this series at one point or another, which is pretty cool. Nice to see that this series is having an impact. These next couple ones were actually reported by me personally because of reasons, so that's cool. Let's hop into those. The first one was of course requested for absolutely ages and reported by a ton of people, which is how we basically got this added to the game. But now creepers and spiders will be the only things to ever spawn underneath trapdoors, meaning that creeper only farms are actually a possibility and can be made on Bedrock Edition. This is a pretty huge thing and has seriously been needed for a long time. And yes, I'll be making a creeper only farm here sometime soon. Very soon. You can once again strike multiple mobs at a time using a channeling trident. This has been broken since about 1.9 era or so. I don't know, but it's been a long time and it's very nice to have this feature back again. Zombie pigmen will once again spawn from Nether Portals on easy mode, which is rather nice. This issue has been around for a while and has affected quite a few players. So as you can see, we are on easy difficulty and quite a few silents are spawning. Wither skeletons will no longer take damage from having the wither effect. As you can see, this one's standing right on top of a wither rose. We can shoot him with a DK arrow, no damage, lingering potion of DK, and also a splash potion of DK, and this guy is not taking any damage whatsoever, which is really, really cool. We can also try and apply the effect to him using commands, and as you can see, the wither skeleton does actually get the wither effect, it just doesn't do any damage to it, which makes sense. So moving on from all the bugs that I reported over to some other interesting bugs that I thought were relevant to the 1.13 update, we have probably the oldest bug fix I've ever seen in the, time that I've been making this series, and that is mcpe 515. That's the 515th bug that was ever reported to the tracker. We're currently on 56,000 bug reports made on the bug tracker. And to give you an idea of how old this bug report is, it was reported back in November of 2012. This is a 7-year-old bug. But basically, it has to do with the fall damage sound playing in creative mode, and this is one that's actually been bothering me for a very long time. Like, I actively cut out the fall damage sound from my videos all the time when I make tutorials, and now I no longer need to, because when you fall in creative, you don't take any damage and you don't make any sound, and it's incredible. And this is a 7-year-old bug that they finally fixed, and I am so happy about it. This is one that me and Prowl just noticed recently, but it used to be that whenever you bone meal any kind of flower in the game, it would always give you more dandelions or poppies. But this was fixed in 1.13 so that when you bone meal a flower, you get more of that same flower type. So this makes for extremely simple, straightforward, and easy flower farms for all of the different types of dye that you can get from flowers. So really nice change, allowing for a new type of farm that we didn't have before. And no, before you ask, this does not work on wither roses, to everyone's disappointment. Dispensers now have the ability to break an armor stand by shooting an arrow into it. So if we go ahead and press that button, you'll see that the armor stand gets completely killed and drops all of its items, and none of the armor takes any damage at all, which is a really nice thing. This brings us one step closer to having fully automatic armor sorters on the Bedrock edition. We're simply missing the one feature of the dispensers being able to place armor stands, but hopefully we'll get that feature sometime in a future update. I was about to say that this would be a great way to waste all of the thousands of totems of undying that we all have. However, it doesn't appear that that is the case, which is a little bit of an inconsistency, because when you throw a potion of harming at these guys, they actually use the totem of undying, which is a little bit of a strange one and probably a bug in itself. Having ice one block below the player as you're walking on the side of a block, like in this situation right here, no longer slows you down. This was a very annoying thing, as the ice down there would actually give you extreme slowness as you're walking on the edge of this block. So that's a really annoying one that has been removed. An Easter egg that you probably don't remember or know about has been fixed as well. So now if you get yourself a name tag and name it Toast, you can rename a rabbit and that'll give it a new texture, which is kind of a nice. It's a really cute little bunny rabbit. Look at that guy, he's so cute and adorable. Now, I thought there was like a giant killer bunny Easter egg as well, but these guys are not killer bunnies. Am I misremembering things? I'm not sure, but I really want to know about some killer bunnies, because then we can get all Holy Grail up in here. And finally, we have one that's personally been annoying me for absolutely ages, and that is that there is no drinking sound when drinking potions or milk. So now there is. There is the potion sound, and of course when we go to drink a bucket of milk, we will also get sound from that as well. And there you have it, a whole bunch of amazing bug fixes from the 1.13 update. Many of these allow for new farms and new technical contraptions and all kinds of really nice things. So as you can see, Mojang is putting a good foot forward. The developers really truly do care about the Bedrock Edition updates, and this is like the biggest bug fix update we've had to date. Of course, I didn't cover all the bug fixes from the update because that would be like a 3-hour long video. So I think as long as Mojang can refine the beta process, as long as more bugs get reported from the people who play in the betas, and as long as there is a little bit more bug searching before the updates get released, then we'll have some pretty solid and pretty amazing updates to the Bedrock Edition in the future. I think honestly, if they just release like 3 to 4 more 1.13s without introducing a whole bunch of new bugs, then Bedrock Edition will be a very solid platform. And who knows, you guys might not complain every update. I know I probably wouldn't. So there you go, a little dose of positivity for the 1.13 update. It's not all terrible and bad and horrific, and there honestly is quite a few good changes. Now that being said, next Bugrock, I'm going to be going over all of the bugs in 1.13 that you guys have been sending me over the last couple of weeks, and man, that one is going to be a doozy. So I'll see you guys in that one. Thank you so much for watching today's episode. I do hope that you have all enjoyed. Of course, if you have, make sure to leave a like on the video, as it does help out the video and the channel significantly. If you are new here, make sure to subscribe as well so you don't miss future videos on the channel, and I'll see you all down in the comment section and in the next one. Thank you so much for watching, and then there was silence.